Hello everyone, this is Isabel Paradis. I'm in London. I'm in the company of one of the most intelligent person I've ever met and a good friend of mine, Eli Katz, CEO of XConnect. Eli, welcome to my HotShot.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
It's been a long time coming. I've been torturing you for a long time to be one of my victims. I finally succeeded.
Eventually I had to fall for your charms.
Oh, smooth talker. Let's see if you say the same by the end of this interview.
We'll wait.
So, Eli, today we're going to talk about one of the, in my opinion, untamed animal of the telecom industry, number portability. So maybe the first thing that maybe you can share with me is, from my point of view, when I talk to wholesalers, they're all, without exception, looking for more efficiency and new revenues. Do you think number portability is one way for them to achieve both?
So the simple answer is absolutely yes. And we have been working towards providing these services for voice wholesalers. The business use case for SMS A2P players has been there for many years. The business case for domestic voice routing has been there for many years. What is interesting, in the last year or two, the use case generating millions of dollars worth of bottom line gross margin improvements has now been available for voice wholesalers. What are the key triggers? Why has this happened in the industry? And I think there's a set of commercial drivers and a set of technology enablers. So from a commercial drivers, number one is we see a very interesting phenomena. Number portability is the statement about numbers that have been ported in a given country. There are a host of countries now, 10 plus, where more than 50% of all the numbers in a given country, due to the length of time that porting has happened, that is now ported.
That's
which
huge.
therefore is massive,
Yes,
and therefore it means that if you're routing basically using the prefix as the typical routing methodology today, you're going to be wrong at least half the time.
That's not good.
So that is not helpful because you want to try and maximize your direct relationship to the MNOs and you want to deliver the call to the right operator. If you don't, someone or other is going to be paying a transit fee. Somebody or other is saying, I'm going to charge you for routing the call to another network. So you want to avoid that in order to be able to increase your gross margin. So that's kind of the macro business driver. And the other aspect is that we're seeing more and more operators creating direct MNO interconnects as driven by the technology. The architecture of IP generations allows you to say, I want to have as many MNO direct interconnects as I can. All of this are the commercial drivers why I want to ensure that the right call is being sent to the right operator based upon number portability. So that's on the commercial side. The technology side has also had to undergo two major changes. Number one is that an operator can make a query on every call to decide where to route this call exactly. And that's central routing engines, your SBC, your more advanced switching platforms can generate a query in real time, carrier grade, get the response and say, right, now I have the information, now I can route to the correct operator. The last part of the puzzle, which only really came into the last year or two, is technology companies like XConnect, who can deliver a resilient multi-protocol platform that can cope with ultra-low latency and very high volume capacity, which is what carrier grade needs. So when we are servicing today some of the largest global carriers with thousands of queries a second and sub-millisecond latency time, that is what a voice operator needs to be able to do the routing. So that is the mixture of commercial drivers and technology enablers that says that today there are business use cases for number portability based routing.
You've convinced me. I've been in business for a while, and I remember quite a few years ago, I worked with some operators that tried to tackle the number portability challenge, and they found it was too difficult, and they never succeeded. And I think a few people have tried throughout the years. Why is it so challenging, and what needs to be taking place for the number portability animal to be tamed?
Okay, so that's a very good question. And you're absolutely right in your assessment. This has not been a trivial challenge at all. So what are the key challenges? So number one is, surprising perhaps to many people, there's no global standards for number portability information. That means every country has implemented its own particular flavor, its own technology and design, how in this country we're going to implement number portability information. So that means the challenge from an operator's perspective is if they want to onboard the data from multiple countries, every country is a whole new development exercise, there's a whole new data set of data protocols, a whole new set of data access structures, and it's amazing. There are altogether about 100 countries worldwide with mobile number portability. We've onboarded about 50 of those, and I have a bet with my development team that the next one is going to be identical to one that we've done before, and that's never been the case. So every single country is different. So that's challenge number one. Challenge number two, the commercial side and the contractual side of accessing this data, especially now in the new world of GDPR and privacy around the number information. So all of that provides a lot of additional headache in what it means to be able to onboard this data. And finally, you may have thought once you've gone through that headache of onboarding the data and the commercials and the contractuals, then you've got the second headache, which is the data that's coming in is not always perfect. It needs constant monitoring. It needs constant tweaking to ensure that the accuracy, the completeness, and the reliability is there. It is not fire and forget at all. So all of this is a lot of overheads, and unless you're prepared to invest in this as a focused entity, you're not going to be able to succeed. We've invested over $10 million in building up this side of the business, in creating a number information source that can be used by the voice industry, and this is what we do.
So I guess you've told me that XConnect as a solution. I guess part of the reason why you're succeeding in tackling this untamed animal is investment time. But what makes you this so different? How come you've succeeded and others have failed?
So I think part of that comes from the following two statements. Number one is the specific focus and building a technology environment that can deliver what the voice customers require. Because in the good old days, being used for messaging, the requirements there were relatively simple. In the voice world, the capacity, the security, the latency, all of that is a magnitude change from what is required in A to P routing. So that's not something that you do kind of, as a random thought. You do that because you're going to make a specific decision to invest in the technology, to invest in the platform, and to build the data sets from around the world. I say this is a lot of effort, both in onboarding it and ongoing.
That's the thing, you have to keep it up. It's not just once it's done, you close it. And
it's amazing. It challenges us to see how much effort needs to happen on a day-to-day basis, just kind of managing that data sets and ensuring that the accuracy and the completeness is there. The other point is that if we look forward to the future, two new worlds are happening out there. The messaging world is beginning slowly to migrate to RCS, Rich Communication Services. RCS, I will mention it.
Back.
And on the voice side, on the VoLTE side, both of these are services which we are already today developing solutions for as the world moves to the next generation, both on the voice side and on the SMS side. One other point to mention is that once you're in that routing loop, then there's lots more value-added services you can bring. So, for instance, big issues today impacting on carriers is not just I want to optimize and improve my voice margin, clearly, and that's what we do, but also I want to reduce my fraud. So things like being able to identify unallocated numbers or high-risk ranges. So that is information that as a number of information companies we have and can make that available to our voice customers. So overall, the message is quite simple. We are the trusted and experienced company that has built and created a solution for numbering management in fraud situations, for optimized routing on network and data subscription.
I'm happy that you finally tackled that because, I mean, at Telecom we've been talking about number portability for a number of years and what it can be used for. VoLTE is one of the use cases that we discussed quite a few times before. So I'm happy it's finally coming to tuition. And now we have this incredible music. It's happy hour starting.
Delighted to be here and enjoying the scenery if we look around,
yes.
Overlooking the Thames, Docklands. Yes. Stunning place to be here. Thank you.
Eli, I'm so happy I finally convinced you to be one of my victims. Was not too bad.
I survived.
Good. Me too. Barely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eli.
Pleasure.
Thank you for your time. And everyone, thank you for watching. And until the next Hot Shot.